The New York Knicks are an absolute free fall. Since the start of January, they're 2-8 with a bottom 5 offensive and defensive rating. Since the NBA Cup final, Mike Brown has seemingly lost this locker room, and the Knicks are playing some of the worst basketball I've seen this team play in years. We're going to talk about all of that and some potential trade packages right here on Fireside Knicks. Let's go. With the NBA trade deadline roughly 2 weeks away, Karl Anthony Towns playing the worst basketball of his career, OG Anunoby shooting 30% from 3, the Knicks could be involved in some pretty big trades. Steve Popper of Newsday noted that the Knicks are talking to teams about Karl Anthony Towns. 3 teams mentioned were the Memphis Grizzlies, Orlando Magic, and Charlotte Hornets. So let's jump into the trade maker and see what we can do. So let's first make a package of Karl Anthony Towns being sent to the Grizzlies and Jaren Jackson Jr. being sent to the Knicks. This is a very interesting trade package that I might be open to for the Knicks. So let's dive right into it. Karl Anthony Towns being sent to the Grizzlies. We'll also throw Guerschon Yabusele into this conversation as well because he will absolutely be getting traded before the deadline. Let's send Triple J to the Knicks. Now, I'm not the biggest Jaren Jackson Jr. fan. I'm not the biggest Karl Anthony Towns fan. They share similar weaknesses. They both get a bunch of personal fouls. You can look at the top 5 in terms of personal fouls per game. Cat and Triple J will be up there. They struggle with that mightily. Triple J is not a great rebounder for his size. The offensive rebounding game isn't really there. In terms of the offensive game, it's been quite volatile throughout his career. Now, the 3 ball has been decent the past 2 years, sitting at roughly 37%. I'll take that, but inside the paint, inside the arc, he's not very good. He'll take some very weird shots. He'll get you mad, exactly like Karl Anthony Towns. You could look at Cat and Triple J. Their overall shot quality will grade out as an F. It's really bad. They put up very wacky shots that they shouldn't be. So they share a bunch of similar concerns. But Triple J, this guy is still an elite defender. Now, I'm not going to say he's the same defender he was in 2022 and 2023 when he won Defensive Player of the Year and averaged 3 blocks per game. He's not that, but he is still a damn good interior defender. And for his size, he's not too bad on the perimeter as well. So the defense would improve mightily if the Knicks do acquire Jaren Jackson Jr. But as I said earlier, the offensive game is quite volatile. He'll frustrate you. He's not the best scorer in the world. For his size, he should be better at the rim. He's just not. Now, I wouldn't do this deal straight up. You actually can't do this deal because the Grizzlies have to cut money, but I want some supporting pieces in return if we're going to trade Karl Anthony Towns. Let's throw KCP into this conversation. Now, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope is not the same player he was in Denver. The outside shot has fallen off. He's not a good interior defender. He's good on the wing, perimeter defender, cut the passing lanes. He's that type of guy. He'll bring the veteran presence into the locker room, a guy who's won a championship, which would be really nice for this team. I know OG did with Toronto, but he wasn't playing in the final. He wasn't playing in the final. KCP was a staple of that Denver roster, so I would love to have that experience in this locker room. He also helps make the money work at $21.6 million. We need to make the money match a little bit since we're trading Cat at $53 million. KCP is still a solid player. He'll give you good perimeter defense. He'll shoot the 3 ball at an acceptable rate, and he's just going to improve your overall team defense, which the Knicks need badly. This defense is abhorrent right now, so KCP will help with that a lot. I'm going to add 2 more role players for the Knicks. I want GG Jackson in return. I really like GG Jackson as a defender. The offensive game is bad. I'm going to say it how it is. The 3 ball is bad. He can finish at the rim. He's a good finisher, but the outside ball isn't really there. He can't really score. He is 21 years old, though, so that can improve. 6'9", 215 pounds. The frame is there. He can operate as the point of attack defender. This guy's a really good perimeter defender. Really good. He can take tough matchups. He can defend the point of attack. He brings some size to this roster that the Knicks really need. I mean, when you look at point of attack defenders, it's Deuce McBride. That's really it. You can add Landry Shamet into that, but Landry Shamet is not the best point of attack defender. It's truly Deuce McBride. And since Deuce has taken on a bigger offensive load, He's not the best point of attack defender. Adding GG Jackson to the squad would be really, really nice off the bench. He's cheap, $2.2 million. He has another year of control, so you'll have him for the 2027 season. He's still only 21 years old. He can improve. I like this if Knicks can get GG Jackson in return. But we're not done. We're not done at all. This is what I really like. I want Jalen Wells. 3 years of control, 22 years old, 6'7" guard. We need some size in the backcourt. I love Jalen Wells. Once again, not a great offensive player. Can't really shoot the ball, but he's young. He's 22 years old. And this guy is one of the most underrated defenders the NBA has to offer. He'll take the toughest matchup. He'll take the best player on the opposing team. He'll run the point of attack, and he'll lock guys up. Jalen Wells is one of the most underrated point of attack defenders in the NBA. He would be perfect for this roster, coming off of the bench, 3 years of control. You'll have him for the years to come. This guy would add a defensive spark that this team needs badly. Wells and Jackson would be perfect. GG Jackson can fly around screens, bring that energy that we need. And Jalen Wells, throw him at the point of attack, and you are comfortable. Now, the money does not work right now. As you can see, the Knicks are under or above the second apron by $2 million. So we're gonna throw Tyler Kolek into this conversation. People love Tyler Kolek. I love Tyler Kolek, but he's not gonna win you a championship. You may have concerns that the Knicks don't really have a backup facilitator, but we could look to get that facilitator in another deal separate from this. As you can see, we try the trade and we should be good. Now, would I do this deal? I'm not too sure. It's a big culture shift. It's a big play style shift. You're losing a offensive force. Well, not this year, but you are losing an offensive force in Karl Anthony Towns. And in return, you are getting 4 guys who are defensive players first. Jaren Jackson Jr., the offense is okay. It's solid, but he's a defender first. Obviously, KCP has always been that 3-and-D guy. And then GG Jackson and Jalen Wells can operate out of the point of attack. So this is a big culture shift for the Knicks. Would I be too opposed from it? Not necessarily. This really improves the bench. And I'm okay with this. Would I do it? I'm not sure yet. I'm still up in the air with this, but I'm okay with this deal. Let's move on to the Magic because that was another team mentioned. Now, the Magic, I don't love as much, but we're going to talk about them. We're going to send Karl Anthony Towns over. In return, we're going to need Jalen Suggs to make the money work. They're not going to trade Desmond Bane, of course. They're not going to trade Franz Wagner, Paolo Banchero. So we're going to need Jalen Suggs in return. We know what Suggs is about. 5 years of control, $35 million. I still think that's a little bit of an overpay, but this guy is one of the best defenders in the league, flat out. He'll bring physicality. He'll bring that dog that the Knicks seriously need. But you are swapping a center for a point guard, so that's a little bit weird. We're also going to add Wendell Carter Jr. and Goga Bitadze. 2 centers that also helps you out for Mitchell Robinson, who's on an expiring deal at the end of the year. He'll probably walk because the Knicks don't have too much wiggle room. So we're going to add Goga Bitadze, who I think's been an underrated big man for years in this league. He's a great rebounder. And Wendell Carter Jr., I didn't love him, coming out of the draft as a young player, but he's really blossomed this year into a guy who can make a real impact on this roster. 6'10", 270 pounds. Goga Bitadze, 6'11", 250 pounds. Add some real size that this Knicks roster can need. Now, as you can see, this is not done. We need to add or cut $1 million from the Knicks payroll because they're over, as you can see here. So we're going to send them, kind of anybody. You could send them Become Dadier. But I'm just going to send them Tyler Kolek in return. This should work. There we go. Now, I don't love this deal. I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. I love Jalen Suggs. I love all those guys we're going to get in return, but the offense is really, really poor. Jalen Suggs is an okay offensive player, probably subpar. Wendell Carter Jr., Goga Bitadze. What are you really getting on the offensive side of the ball? Yeah, the defense is improving mightily. That's kind of how all the deals for Karl Anthony Towns are going to work, but I don't love this deal. I'd prefer the Memphis Grizzlies deal for sure over this one. And let's talk about one more team. You could guess who it is. It's the Milwaukee Bucks. I'm going to make this actually a 3-team deal. We're going to get a little bit crazy. We're going to add the Charlotte Hornets into this type of conversation. So for the Knicks, of course, Giannis. We're going to send Kuzma to the Hornets. I will tell you why in a second. We're going to send Colin Sexton to the Knicks. We're going to send OG Anunoby to the Bucks. We're going to send, you can kind of send anything. Oh, wait, did Carl Anthony, where is he? There you go, Carl. Come on, get over there. So he's going to be going to the Bucks. And then we'll throw in, sure, the Washington protected pick. That's not that much of an intriguing pick anymore because Trae Young's sitting out. That team is clearly tanking. So that protected first round pick will most likely convey into a 2027 and 2028 second round pick. But that's 2 second round picks for the Bucks. You could add our own 2026 first round pick. And this should work. We should be pretty good for this deal. Now, the reason I'm doing this is pretty simple. You get Giannis Antetokounmpo. It's that simple. You get a guy who walks into New York and is instantly the most skilled player you've had in your franchise's history. You get Colin Sexton from the Hornets. I'll talk about that in a second. Karl Anthony Towns being sent to the Bucks. OG Anunoby being sent to the Bucks. And however many picks you want. I don't care what Milwaukee demands. Let's get Giannis on this team. The Bucks might want to win now because they don't own any of their first round picks in the upcoming draft. So there's no real reason for them to tank. You have 2 pieces who can be a part of the rebuild. You still have guys like Ryan Rollins, AJ Green there you can build around. And if Giannis wants to be a Knick, that gives the Knicks leverage. If this guy's demanding to be sent to the Knicks, that helps the Knicks case. In a 2-team trade, Kyle Kuzma would be sent to the Knicks to make the money work. But in this deal, we could also send a second round pick to the Hornets to, make them agree to this deal. But we're going to dump that 2-year contract of Kyle Kuzma to the Hornets. And in return, the Knicks are going to get Colin Sexton on an expiring deal. I hope you see what I'm doing here. We get Giannis, we trade Cat. Kind of a 50-50 swap in terms of contract. We dump the OG contract, which is going to be going up to $40 million, 42, blah, 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 blah. It's going to get really serious for OG's contract. I don't love that contract. In return, we get Colin Sexton's expiring deal. That will run out. Mitchell Robinson's contract will run out. The Knicks are going to have a lot of room to work with in the 2027 season. Let's jump to their contracts right now and take a look. So as you can see here, Karl Anthony Towns is at $53 million. That's going to go up to 57, and he has a player option at 61. That deal is going to get more expensive. We have OG going from 39 to 42 to 45. That deal is getting more expensive. So you dump the Karl Anthony Towns contract, you dump the OG contract, you have, Terry Rozier, who will expire. Mitchell Robinson will expire. You're going to have a bunch of room to work with to build out a team in free agency heading into the 2027 season. You already have your core of Jalen Brunson, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Mikal Bridges, Josh Hart. You still have Deuce McBride coming off the bench. You have guys there. Now you're going to have a bunch of money coming off of the books to work in free agency to really build a championship level roster. Man, I'm doing that. I'm doing that in a heartbeat. I'm doing practically anything to get Giannis on my team. Let's jump back to the trade maker so you guys can really visualize what I'm talking about. So for this instance, let's get Colin Sexton out of here. Let's act like we're going into the 2027 season and his contract expires. We're going to send him to the Bucks, whatever, that doesn't matter. Gershon Yabusele is going to leave. Let's send him to actually, we'll keep him because we're going to need to swap his contract with somebody else's once he gets traded. We're going to send Mitchell Robinson away. Now look how much money you have. Look how much money you have to operate. You have Giannis at 54. You have Jalen Brunson, Mikal Bridges, and Josh Hart. Outside of that, you have McBride at 4.3. His contract's actually going to go down next year. Awesome contract. And you don't really have many role players after that. Jordan Clarkson's contract will run out, and so on and so forth. So the Knicks are going to have a lot of room to work with heading into the 2027 season if they can make a 3-team deal work with the Bucks sending them Giannis. Of course, we want Giannis. He's one of the best players ever. I would do practically anything for him to get on my team, but I think this is a really solid blueprint to follow for Leon Rose and co. If you could somehow land Giannis, get an expiring deal in that contract as well. You let Mitchell Robinson walk, that expiring deal, in this instance, Colin Sexton, and you're golden. You're golden. Did I say Terry Rozier earlier? I'm not too sure, but I meant Colin Sexton. I love this. If I had to obviously pick a deal to do, it's obviously going to be this one. This obviously doesn't work. I'm just showing you guys. But yeah, I want Giannis on my team. I want Giannis on my team badly. And that kind of segues me into my next point, that Leon Rose has quite honestly mismanaged this roster. You look at the Mikal Bridges trade, that's 6 first-round picks for Mikal Bridges. He doesn't really seem to have a fit on this roster. You sent Julius Randle, Dante DiVincenzo, and a first-round pick to go out there and get Karl Anthony Towns, a deal that I didn't really like when it happened, and I certainly don't love it now. You practically sent 7 first-round picks, 7, Julius Randle and Dante DiVincenzo for Karl Anthony Towns and Mikal Bridges, 2 guys who have flat out been not great this year. They're very, very inconsistent. You don't know what you're going to get on a night-to-night basis. Leon Rose, these trades have really not worked out for this team. I don't love the OG contract extension. I understand you had to do it in the moment, but that's a lot of money for OG. That's going to get to $45 million. You could even look at the draft. We drafted Pacome Dadier in the 2024 draft in the first-round pick, a project player out of France, when we had guys like Keyshawn George going past him. How great would Keyshawn George be on the Knicks right now? A guy who could get a bucket, he could defend, he has size. Imagine Keyshawn George off the bench for the Knicks right now. That'd be awesome. That'd be awesome. But instead, we're getting Pacome Dadier, who's a project player out of France, when we're trying to win a championship now. We're trying to win now. I don't need a project player who may be good in 5 years. We need to win now. So that, I mean, Pacome Dadier has done practically nothing for this New York Knicks roster. He probably doesn't have 15 minutes played this season. I wouldn't bet on it. That's an F draft pick. That's an F draft pick. We traded 4 second-round picks for Tyler Kolek. That's not amazing either. There's been a lot of mismanagement, and I know we love to praise Leon, and I still like Leon. He brought this franchise out of the dumps, and I do agree we should have fired Tom Thibodeau, but is Mike Brown the correct hire? I'm not too sure. He seems to have lost the locker room before the All-Star break, before the trade deadline. That's kind of insane. You see him hugging Draymond Green after the game after we've lost our 1,000,000th game in a row. I mean, that's not a great look. I don't personally like that. And reports have come out that there's people inside the Knicks that didn't really like that as well. So there's been a little bit of mismanagement the past year or two for Leon Rose. Now, 2 things could be true at the same time. Don't get me wrong. I absolutely think Tom Thibodeau should have been fired, but maybe Mike Brown isn't the guy to lead this team to a championship. We've had lackluster trades in Mikal Bridges and Karl Anthony Towns. We've had poor draft selections and Pacome Dadier. Leon Rose has made some serious blunders with this roster because now we have an expensive core, a core that's very close to the second apron, a core that's really not working out. We don't have draft capital to get a superstar 2-time MVP who wants to play for the Knicks. When does that ever happen? It never happens. We had guys choose the Nets, the Brooklyn Nets, over the New York Knicks. And now we have a guy who is one of the best players ever dying to play for a franchise, but we might get outbid by other teams for him. So there's been some severe mismanagement for this roster, in my opinion, from Leon Rose. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Do you still think this is a championship level roster? I don't. Do you think Leon Rose is a tad bit overrated like I do? Let us know in the comment section down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe to Fireside Knicks. Peace out, guys.